This is my girlfriend Jess, and this is me. Jess has never seen a beach before, so I decided I would buy a 1960 Ford station wagon, build it from scratch, and then try to drive to Texas, where we could go to the Gulf of Mexico. This was supposed to be a vacation, but it turned out to be a vacation from hell. Let's take it from the top, though, where we begin with a basket case 1960 Ford country sedan wagon. Check this baby out. I saw this pop up on Marketplace for a cool $1,500. I offered the guy $1,200 and he took it. Now, no motor, no trans, factory 6-cylinder car, plenty of rust, floor deletes, seat delete, and look at that dashboard, man. Look at the bubble back window and the fold up and down tailgate. This thing is chock full of stuff. I think we got everything here to build a car, Bob. Except for one thing, a motor and transmission.
Oh, right.
Well, that's two things. Back in the woods there is a 1977 Mercury Grand Marquis with a 460 and a C6. And we are going to pull that motor and trans out, stuff it in this wagon, and have a big block Ford-powered 1960 Ford station wagon. Let's get started by getting that pile of crap running and in the shop. We reassembled the distributor, I rebuilt the carburetor with a stick, and soon the old Mercury was running once again. I gently backed it out of the hole it was in, and then gently drove it down the hill so we could pull it into the shop for extraction. We're carefully removing all the wiring, ignition components, charging components, everything we're going to need to put it in a car that is a blank slate. There's obviously a couple of ways you can go about that. You can buy an aftermarket wiring harness, spend lots of money, and have lots of sponsors. Or you could just use the car you have for free. That's what I'm going to do. Buff and I carefully readied the 460 for extraction, and then yanked her out of the Mercury.
Well, the whole car's lifting.
Yeah, why is it doing that? The bolt's still in it.
What the Oh! It's free!
There we go. Okay. Only thing we really need is the frame mounts for the engine out of this thing. We'll keep the car around, of course, for a little while, just in case I forgot something. Goodbye! Oh, that looks great sitting there. It'll match the washing machine on my front porch perfect. Well, that was dumb. Why did I do that? That was dumber. Man, I'm making bad decisions today. Anyway, let's soak this baby down in some super clean here. I like to double fist this stuff. Feel free to grab some, Buff, if you want to join in. This is like shaving cream, except for it kind of burns a little. I think we might as well throw some paint at it, huh?
I think we're at that point. It needs to have overnight to cure, so
yep.
Let's make it happen.
A little extra cleaning on the intake. Get rid of that EGR crap. It just looks so much better. Jess went to O'Reilly and picked out her favorite shade of Ford blue, which was old Ford blue. There's like 15 different kinds of Ford blue. And there's new valves right there. And new cam, lifters.
Don't forget the header upgrade.
Gaskets, headers, got a hog ash cam in it, let me tell you. Damn if that isn't a blue engine, Buff.
It's gorgeous.
It's completely rebuilt now. You can tell by the blue spark plugs. That's the witness mark of quality. Well, the wagon is close. A power wash? Mm-hmm. We also noticed something last night. The whole front clip is held on with like 2 bolts. We should probably just remove it. That'll make our lives a lot easier. Yeah. Not gonna take a whole lot to get that off. I bet this son of a bitch would stop a bullet. There it goes.
Just fell right off.
There we go. There. This one's pretty clean.
Not bad.
We got the standard super clean and the foaming super clean right here. Well, they both equally fuming. Sucks that windshield's broken. I had no idea with all the valuable barn dust on it. That one cracked back window too.
At least it's not right in the driver's view.
No, just right in the driver's view is all. Obviously, we put a little more effort into this than some of the ones we've done, and that's because I like this car. Sometimes I hate cars, and then I don't put the effort into them. Sometimes I just don't care. See, the thing is, there's not just like a baseline for one way to do things. There's multiple ways to do it, you know, multiple levels of giving a shit. This is like a level 6. I didn't even buy tractor paint. I bought epoxy chassis and grill paint from Harbor Freight, so you know it's terrible. Yeah, show quality. These cleaned up really nice. Straight to bare metal. Looking pretty sharp. You pop the hood, you see that sitting in there, you're gonna go, yep, he bought a lot of spray paint. Just mocking it up here.
Unless it goes right in.
Yes, and then in which case we just start welding.
We're within striking distance.
It's not gonna land anywhere near where we need it.
I think we can still come back about 2 inches.
We're gonna have to cut the factory mounts out and then weld those Mercury mounts straight to that cross member. Those welds look just like factory, like shit.
Guess we're gonna take this antique file that he found laying on the ground and make it into a gusset.
Time to file this to fit. You see what I did there? Oh, God.
Not funny.
Oh, God. We might be dumb, but we're not stupid. The freaking Mercury's cross member is like exactly what this car needs. So we just need to trim this Mercury cross member slightly. It's like, I don't know, an inch too wide maybe. That's some thick metal.
Yeah, it is. I bet that's hot.
Yeah, it is. We're genius.
And we just bring the transmission down.
Yes. Talk nice to it. Oh, there it is. I cut up this barn door hinge so that we can make a couple little extension tabs and gusset up where the cross member goes. It needs a little more strength back here to hold it up. So we're going to extend this and then gusset the two pieces together with a triangle. Be very strong and secure.
It's solid.
Oh yeah. We need to make a drive shaft. That is the Holy Goat's original drive shaft, the one that ejected itself down in Arizona. But it's still good shape. And I think using the Mercury slip yoke and that, by my eyeball, is pretty damn close. Unfortunately, it looks like all 4 bolts are broke off in that yoke back there. So I'm going to have to drill every single one. Got it. There we go. Would be a great time to replace that seal. So anyway, I'll ignore it. We can see here, they just cut those off. This one's been welded. I suppose, while we wait for a new U-joint, maybe we move on to either a throttle pedal or some wiring or that alternator. Oh, better do the alternator. We gotta figure out a way to drive that water pump. You got a bit of an idea going here. If I use the original bracket, a couple long bolts, we can be able to slide in and out horizontally so we can stay straight with our pulleys. Trying to figure out what kind of belt we want. I have my horde of used belts and some extra new belts here. It appears to be slightly smaller than that 7480 right there. Now we can gauge how straight we are and figure out how many spacers we need to put in. Well, a whole bunch of washers later. We got something here that'll work. I think so. Belt alignment's not too shabby. So let's adjust it, tighten it down. I had to change this up a little bit, so we'll use a bolt through there and a nut on the back side to squeeze that together. It's not quite straight enough otherwise, but this will work. Expertly designed this to be a royal pain in the ass to change a belt on. Well, as far as wiring goes, I plugged in our regulator. That's all complete from the Mercury.
These are, I think, the start and ignition bypass wire for the original car, and we could still use that. I don't know which is which, so we'll just guess. For the DuraSpark 2 ignition module, these are the two wires that run it. It's basically just power and ground, runs the whole thing, and I'm pretty sure we could still use the factory wiring for the points ignition, because the DuraSpark 2 does use a ballast resistor. So everything should be here. We just hook it up, and I don't know, unless I'm completely wrong, which is possible. I got the right combo U-joint, so I'm going to go ahead and install this. We're going to knock these in with a hammer and a socket, and ignore the fact that this yoke seems kind of sloppy, and boom. We'll go ahead and assemble it to the drive shaft. Brand new used drive shaft is installed. Now it is sticking out a little bit, you might say. So the axle's on the ground, which is pulling it out of the trans. But also, look how long this yoke is. I mean, it's in there all the way to about here. That's plenty of engagement. I think we'll be good. That saves like 400 bucks right there. I feel pretty good about this. Maybe we dive into getting a accelerator pedal of some variety on this thing. That would be good. I pulled the one out of the Mercury, and obviously the 60 originally uses a bar linkage, and it was right up against the back of the block. We weren't able to use that. But we should be able to use a cable, and if we're lucky, maybe we just hook it right up. And this Mercury pedal looks like it would bolt to the firewall fairly easy. So, hey, it beats spending money on a universal pedal or something. I've marked a hole here. It's a factory hole, but it just happens to line just about right with where the pedal will go up here in this dark abyss. Our pedal is going to mount somewhere in this ballpark, and it kicks over to the left, and it'll be just about in line with that hole up on the firewall. It's like they meant for it to be. Oh, it's beautiful. Sometimes my genius amazes myself. Look at that. You'd never know. You know, my foot fell through the floor, but never mind the floor. Look at the awesome throttle action. I guess the next thing to do would be to put a shifter in it. So I bought a B&M Unimatic shifter. This is kind of my go-to for a universal shifter. Sometimes they get a little tight putting them in the floor. It's not going to be a problem with this one because there is no floor. This floor pan is basically the same as JD's 59 Ford. We put one of those shifters in it. Go watch those videos. That was about 1.5 years ago. I think I'm just going to start by cutting out all this bad metal here, and that's going to open up a ton of room. We're going to have to build a little box for that shifter to sit on. Around here somewhere. There's not a lot left in here, but that's fine for now. I'm thinking right about here is pretty much the only place we can put this damn shifter. I'm going to make a couple marks on that tunnel. We'll make a little flap we can kick out, maybe bolt it to that flap and use it to mock everything up. Right about there. Bolt this here. Now this part where the cable goes pretty much needs to be under the floor. I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be, but it would be pretty cool if it was. Right there, I can get 2 bolts in it. That'll just barely clear that floor brace. I'm going to test fit the cable in a minute. We're about halfway there with this. Not too shabby, just enough room. I'm going to go ahead and hook up all the transmission linkage, and then we'll come back and build the rest of this box here. I may have to bust out the welder for this one, but that's okay. That took a little doing, but now we have a shifter, and it works even. It's a little bit floppy because half the floor's missing, you know, but it works. I've got my nibbler out. This is a heat shield out of that 4x4 van we built. It's got a nice 90 built into it, good thick metal. Something, I don't know, put it in somewhere like this maybe? Something like that. Oh yeah, there it is. It just occurred to me that that might be galvanized metal I'm about to weld into this, which of course when welded creates chlorine gas. It will kill you. So I guess we'll find out if I die. There's a shifter box. Not bad. Put another piece in up here. Now it's not terribly sturdy, but it's moving the whole damn transmission tunnel, so I must have it stuck to something. We need more sheet metal. I know just where to get some. Right there. Probably 10,000 square feet of good sheet metal here to use. Probably get this stuff out
before we start making a bunch of sparks. I marked out some spots here and where I think I need to cut, and it's all eyeball and guesswork. It's the kind of thing that you just get with experience. Actually, I'm still not very good at it. Get Mr. Nibbler out here, and we will go to town. Good God, why is it so heavy and there's so little left of it? Oh, intervars. That is a not insignificant amount of rat poop and nest. I think I found the rest of the seat. Hell, maybe we do go ahead and do the rear floor while we're here. Hey, set a pack of cools. Well, an empty pack of cools. Kings. I don't even think they make cool cigarettes anymore, do they? Kind of got this where I want it. It's not bad. We're still gonna have to make an extra little kick up to get to the shifter here, but let's build the whole floor and then we'll just tack in a little extra plate there. I'm gonna shoot some self-tappers in it just to hold it in place for now. It's actually not half bad. I don't think I am going to throw any welds on it. I just end up blowing holes. So this is probably about as good as it gets. But we will weld that part in because we can weld all new metal over there. Box that in, brace up that shifter, and then just, you know, make the rest of the floor pan out of that mercury. Look. Pretty cool, isn't it?
Very nice.
I like it. You know, the welding is horrible. I can't get anything to stick to the sheet metal of this car. There's just nothing left. And that's fine. See all the gaps? That's no problem. Because we'll just cover it all up with kill mat and it'll be done. And what you do is you get to the point where the thing will just kind of lay down for you in here. And you take your big hammer and just... So I'll just go ahead and shoot the rest of this box of self-tappers into this. We need more metal. Like my ancestors before me, we will use all parts of the beast and let nothing go to waste.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's a thing of beauty right there. It's pretty awful, but it will get the job done, that's for sure. So I drilled out all the holes for the seat, except for this one. I broke a drill bit off him. He's not playing very nice. So what I will do instead is I'm going to weld this bolt to the floor, and then when we set the seat down, it'll just be like a stud. I've done this probably a dozen times in my life, and it's worked at least 3. Coming along nicely. Look at those perfectly rust-free, non-77 mercury floors. Behold, completion. Now nobody will ever know as long as they don't look underneath it. Thankfully this thing will sit low enough, nobody will be able to. With our floors complete, it's time to get on the brakes of this thing now. Fortunately, I didn't realize until it was too late that this thing is missing 3 brake drums. I bought 2 because I knew it was missing at least 2. I didn't know about the 3rd. I'm going to dust some cast iron high heat paint on these drums for style points. Well, at least disassembly's made a lot easier for us. It's done. We're missing all the hardware. This is going to be interesting. I bought changeover kits for it. I think that includes everything we need, but we're kind of flying blind here. These wheel cylinders are strange. They just use this big nut here, and that's what actually holds it on. So let's soak the hell out of that. Usually they're not a problem, but this one's been exposed to the elements forever. We'll put new bearings and seals in here as well. Get the hub off of here. Yeah, these bearings are all bent and screwed up. Put a gallon of super clean in this bucket here. I'm going to throw this hub assembly in there and just kind of let it get clean, you know. Stuff works really good. Just let it sit in there for about an hour. You know, my buddy Kevin over at Junkyard Digs likes to use a bucket of gasoline, which works really good too. But I'm a smoker, and that'll make me go boom, I'm afraid, so. Hey. Conveniently, these hardware kits from O'Reilly's don't have the nails you need to actually hang the shoe with. I scrounged around and found these 2. I don't even know if these are the right ones. They might work. But, yeah.
They got everything else in there, including the cup washers that go around the nails. But they don't have the nails. And these pins aren't long enough, of course. I scrounged through the whole damn car, and there seems to be pretty much everything but those in there. This might have the brake nails that we need. These are definitely different brakes. Oh, no, they're not. Oh, they're the same. Ooh, and they're in good shape, too. And we can rob all this self-adjusting hardware out of these and at least get that on the front, maybe. I also have that other LTD we could take apart. Solution. It continues to give. This thing's worth its weight in gold. That doesn't look very good. But I don't see any other alternative, so it is what it is. Yeah, you can see the back seat of the car from inside of here. This is we're just pointing that out for all the people who are going to whine about me tearing apart this land yacht. There it goes. That's a brake. I'm going to toss the other one together. Then we'll pack some bearings and slam the front together. Get to the rear. I was able to save both front brake lines, which I'm very happy with. I got to get the master cylinder line off, and then the front to rear line. We do have to make that one. We'll press the studs out of these too. Go ahead and replace all the wheel studs because they look pretty bad. That's something easy to do right now, just so we don't have a pain in the ass later. So I just run them down at the impact till they get sucked all the way through. Get them all packed up with some high temp here. Scrape it through the palm of my hand till you see the grease come out the front side and in between the rollers. And these should be good for another 63 years. So we'll put our new wheel seal in here, get it tapped in, refurbished. Beautiful. Now this front to rear brake line's busted, so I'm gonna knock this out here. Go ahead and run a new hard line all the way back. We got a new rubber hose here. That goes into the T back here. I reckon we probably ought to go ahead and replace both axle lines. You know they're going to break. We might as well just do it. That's supposed to be attached to the spring, and it's not. Pretty broken. So I'm soaking them, and there are some springs that came with it, so we'll go ahead and change them out too while we're here. But brakes first. Let's do brakes first. One catastrophe at a time. Yeah, I think it was due for some wheel cylinders. New brake line there. Front to rear line is ran. Still got to run the passenger over to the T. Last line here. Man, look at that. It's beautiful. Even an ignoramus like me gets it right sometimes. It's another average morning in the pole barn household where I woke up and then found a car I have to buy.
It's got a seat, maybe some glass, brake drums. So, should have everything we need. Well, here it is. The 60 Galaxy. We just bought it from Rusty's Auto Sales in Platte City, Missouri. If you need a car. Apparently it has been $550 for this thing. Couldn't pass that up. Now she's a Galaxy. She's fully loaded. It's got all the trim we need. You can dig the interior. That's why I bought it. Now it's not great, but that seat is a hell of a lot better than what we got. Plus it's got door panels, all the dash trim and stuff for the fancier car. Steering wheel center. I mean, this car just paid for itself. Even the windshield's usable. Look, one brake drum. That's a rear too. Jess is gonna work on seeing what the hell we even have in here. We have a lot of parts. Now we have a whole nother car. Surely we can pull this off. Would you look at this? The Mustang master cylinder is exactly the same thing as the original master cylinder. I'm gonna try to unbolt that leaf spring. Hell yeah, go free all. Wow. Well, there's that. Now what do I do? Yeah, you're not supposed to reuse U-bolts, but yeah, you're not supposed to do a lot of things, so, well, here we are.
Ooh,
Jeez.
yeah.
Gotta get that front bolt out through the frame. Take a time out from that so you can behold my absolutely genius bench bleeding setup here. Really incredible, although I really need to get that line below the fluid level. But it works pretty good. That bolt ain't budging. I guess it's time to get violent. Oh, I've had a new plan. I can't get that bolt out, so maybe we just leave that bolt and instead just replace the two bottom leaves in this spring pack with two more used leaves. If as long as I can get that bolt out right here, which looks like it's in quite a bit better shape. I mean, what's the difference? We're just putting old leaves in it anyway. Screw it. To the junk pile. Well, let's go shopping, shall we? Let's see. Let's see. Short side goes to the front. Remember that, future me. This is called resourcefulness. And this is why I'm a real budget channel on YouTube. A lot of people like to pretend. Not here. I'm actually desperate. I did get that YouTube payday though. You can go to McDonald's for dinner.
Yeah.
My treat.
I'm gonna get a medium fry.
Don't get ahead of yourself now, woman. In my absolute genius and or hoarding disorder, I did keep these spring pack isolator things around from the Mustang 2 we did. Jess's car. They actually are the exact width as this car here. And they're more universal. You just slide them on like this, and you tap them over and bend them over to fit, and that's all there is to it. How goes the poop?
It's disgusting, actually.
There's big.
Pretty horrible.
Any more big turds?
No, that went down there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Smells good in here now. It's that Mrs. Myers stuff.
Just scrub that area and that's what you get.
Well, I suppose we ought to put some shocks on this thing, huh? Front and rear. Mostly rear because they're not there. Got a couple El Cheapo KYBs here. And some El Cheapo FCS shocks for the front. At least those are in good shape. We'll just reuse those instead of trying to deal with removing them. But we can use our shiny new hardware here so it looks like we replaced them. Ah, yeah, look at that. Well, I'm getting ready to do front shocks here. Rears are done. Once Jess is done cleaning up inside, we'll go ahead and bleed brakes. But I was thinking, I was like, man, that tie rod looks bent. So this entire front steering assembly was in the car, but this one is also the same way. I think that's just the way they are. I'm gonna get front shocks put in this thing. They are, of course, stuck, so what you do is you get you a long extension and the 9/16 socket, and then you just bend it back and forth till the top of the shock snaps off. And there we go. Shocks are in. That's done. It definitely needs these sway bar links. They're in pretty bad shape. Check that out. With new sway bar bushings, this thing is basically completely rebuilt in the front end. Good to go. It'll last on a several thousand mile drive. Holy crap.
Look at these
It's
guys.
white.
Look what color they are now.
Well, it's like ivory. Alright, let's bleed some brakes. You're kind of sealed in there. At least it's clean. Let's see how many leaks we end up with. Just pump them about 5 times and hold. What's the verdict? Feel like brakes?
They're brakes.
It's not bad. Why was that so easy? I'm alarmed, actually. Ooh, that's not bad at all.
That could stop a vehicle, I bet.
We're going to try to get the front sheet metal setting on the front of the car. It's in the wheelhouse there. But that's pretty much where it goes.
Nice.
Nice.
There's a moving car
Look at that motor right there. It's fucking cool. Radiator issues. Man, I better go electric fan just to be safe. I think it might fit, because look, that ridge back here where that weather strip is, that's where the hood sits. And if you look at it here, it's got just enough clearance. I'll tell you what, back in the day when they bolted a car together, this thing's got to have 50 bolts holding on. Now we just have kind of a crinkled fender. That's okay, it's kind of what I want. Go ahead and get our DuraSpark box mounted up here. Today's video is brought to you by Brunt Boots, and I am really happy to talk about these. These are their new Marin boot. These are made in the USA. Now that they're American made, I am not only very comfortable, but I'm proud to wear my boots. For years I wore brand X high dollar boot, right? They took like a year for my feet to break them in and get them comfy. These are comfy right out of the box. I don't know what they do differently, but it is a fact. I've worn a lot of work boots in my day. I'm all about safety. Having a good quality boot is key to safety. What do you think? We cut her off right here to about there?
Oh. Yeah. Whoa.
They're pretty sturdy boots. Use my code POLEBARN10, save you some money on some Brunt boots. Click the link down in the description. I gotta say, I love the Brunt boots, guys. I always have. It's a brand that I personally wanted to work with. Use my code, go buy you some boots, and JD, let's cut the roof off of this car. Jumping right in on the interior, actually. That's Jess's pet project. She's in here. You can barely see her through this windshield. We're going to use the windshield out of our new parts car to replace the broken windshield in the station wagon. So we figured we'd go ahead and get the dash ready for paint. Just going to give it a quick scratch with a red Scotch-Brite, mask everything off, squirt it with some spray paint. Oh. Yeah. Ew.
The bug.
Ah, yeah. No need to worry about overspray. Goes right in the lungs. That is the start of a very long process. We're going to paint the tops of the doors, paint all the trim in the back, recover the headliner, do it all on a very tight budget. Look at that window. It's so clean that it's almost not even there. Also, it's not even there. We weren't able to save the seal for this, so I had to buy a new seal. We have the window right down there. It's gonna have to wait until I get the new rubber for it. Then we can install. What do we do in the meantime? Well, let's work on getting this thing running. Let's start with a fuel system. So we've got a fuel cell we need to put in the back. I don't want to see it, so we have to be a little creative. What I want to do is put the fuel cell in the spare tire compartment underneath the floor, under this door here. This will just about fit down in there. It's very, very close. I think even, you know, if we just cut the bottom of that spare tire hole out, it might fit. Now we're getting somewhere. Yeah. Well, that gets that out of our way. There's no body brace under here or anything, so no harm, no foul. Anything we do is just gonna make it stronger. Got kind of a square peg and a round hole situation here. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about right there. So I got my strap kit here, and you know, we're gonna use it completely incorrectly. Pretty sturdy. The whole floor moves, but the fuel cell doesn't, so must be good, right? I was thinking of welding these together. I got a couple pieces of scrap here, one bolt and one old bracket or something. So at least we just weld these together. At least if that side fails or this side fails, something will still hold it in the car. Hey, this is flammable.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
I just saw.
I was just trying to teach you a lesson there, JD. About safety.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Pokey? Yes. Functional? Very. And
yeah.
I'm moving the whole car. I'm just going to run a brace 38 inches long, weld to here, weld to here, weld to the sides. Then it's definitely not going anywhere.
There's fire there.
No, it's fine. You'll note how I didn't cut an angle on that, so I can't weld to the top. So what we do is just use this washer that was sitting next to it. Tack him in place, and then we tack it to the car, and boom, strength.
Much better now, yeah.
They don't move a bit. We got to figure out a vent system, and I need to get a couple AN barb fittings to just hook a regular hose to it. Got our feed line with a filter up here. I run all the way back, and then up under here I've got everything just laying out, waiting for our fittings. So I guess in the meantime, while I wait for parts, we should figure out what we're going to do for a cooling system. I got a radiator. I bought the cheapest radiator you can get on Amazon. 120 bucks for an aluminum. This fan is so freaking close. I don't know about it. Damn it. It's worth like 10 horsepower. Allegedly, this fits. Water necks are on the right side at least, so we can make it fit. If we have to. Not bad. I mean, it's close to the holes. I don't know what bolts the top of it in, but I can get the bottom bolted in. That's something. Oh, I don't know if our electric fan's gonna work. There is so little room. Maybe that does slip underneath there? I don't really know. Yeah, it's weird. It's like this motor is absolutely not supposed to be in this vehicle. I kind of hate this, but I don't see any other option. This is a Flexolite fan. I actually just robbed that off the Holy Goat to see if it would fit. I can put it over here, off-center it to the right, and it'll just barely clear the pulleys. I mean, maybe an inch. I kind of have to lean the radiator in here. It will bolt in place like that. I don't think there's any other option. You really don't want to use a pusher fan as your only fan because it blocks airflow. You want airflow to get through the core and then into a fan, not pushed through, because you're blocking surface area. Best but bad situation, I hope we don't get caught in traffic around Dallas. I did go ahead and order a 3000 CFM Flexolite fan. It puts out a little more juice than that one. I'm not going to commit to this yet, but that's where it's going to go. It's just going to have to overlap the tank just a bit, and that gives us plenty of room. We're all freaking solid, at least. Fan ought to be here on Saturday. Today's Thursday. So let's go ahead and get some hoses on it and maybe try to rig up a transmission cooler. I don't know what the hell this is for. Kind of looks like if I cut this right about at that bend there, it'll make it there. 2 clamp method wins. A little bit hokey, but I think that'll work. I'm reasonably happy with it. It's on there. What we got for a trans cooler is just one of these universal jobs here. And we just zip tie them straight to the front of the radiator with the kit they've got for it. Almighty double clamp method. Don't fail me now. Transmission cooler up here somewhere, I guess, where I think it'll be out of the way of that fan. Right there. Use the special zip ties to hold it through the radiator. Out the other side. I'm trying to replace the ignition switch here. You just push on the switch and then this bezel unscrews. Yeah, I got it. Little guy here just kind of like push and twist. That's all it is. Did I do the thing? Didn't really feel like I did the thing. Oh, yeah, I did. I did it! I'm a mechanic! Well, I got it installed and it seems to work, but it doesn't return off the start. I don't know why. It'll work fine. I just have to remember to let off. Next stop here is going to be wiring. This is cabin power, I think. So that hooks to the solenoid, runs over here, and it would have landed on the regulator, which we're not using right now because we have this regulator. So I think this will work standalone, no problem. We'll just take this off and hook it to whichever one of these is cabin power. I think it's this big yellow one. I've got the battery hooked up. I've got all the mystery wiring laid in here. Now I'm going to touch this big yellow wire to this other big yellow wire. I have the headlight switch pulled and I have the blower motor on, which I doubt works. I'm going to touch them together. This will tell me if it's cabin power. Blower motor works. Okay, so the big yellow one is probably cabin power. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna figure it out old school, and by old school I mean we're gonna guess a lot. The headlight switch was unplugged, and those actually work. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so I'm working on wiring, but then I just realized there's nowhere to put antifreeze in the radiator. It needs a surge tank from like a 390. I ordered an inline radiator fill cap thing from Moroso. Should be here tomorrow. I think it'll work. Anyway, that takes care of that, I hope. Let's get back to wiring. Traced wiring back here. Red is the crank trigger because it runs through the neutral safety switch, which we will bypass. See if it cranks. After getting the key switch figured out, I decided to tackle the DuraSpark 2 ignition. I think I've got it figured out. This is our resistor wire here out of the factory harness. And then we also have the bypass wire off the solenoid. That's going to our coil. The ignition module needs 12 volts in run position. We're getting that there. It also needs 12 volts while cranking, which we're getting out of our start circuit to the solenoid. I'm just going to squirt some brake clean at it, see if we have spark. If it goes vroom, then I'll tidy all this up. Yeah! We freaking did it! We're kind of at a standstill until we get our fuel system wrapped up. Then we can kind of work on the charging system so we can play with trial by error. I'm going to wrap up the wiring on this side of the car with this new old stock Acrotac. I bought this at a flea market for like $10. I mean, it's so cool. It's just perfect for this car.
Shifter delete.
Yeah, so we're just going to eliminate this column shift here because that's lame. Looks pretty good. I just gotta wire it up. I'm gonna ground the tach, shoot a self-tapper into the firewall, naturally. The buff has returned. He's hooking up our fuel lines now. Then maybe we'll put a windshield in it, or maybe we'll actually get it like running for reals and see if we can get a charging system. Let's do that.
So underneath here we've got our fuel cell, some A-in fittings that we've added here. We've got a little bit of rubber fuel line connecting that to the hard lines.
What the hell is this? Only one self-tapper. I'm gonna knock 10 points off for that. I didn't cut the tails of the zip ties. I'm knocking off another 10 points for that. I'm gonna give you a C.
I bet it works though.
But you did the double clamp method. That's worth 5 points. So
redeemed.
B minus. We might have to make a fuel run. I only got like a gallon, but let's see what happens. So this is a little inconvenient, and I'm only gonna have to do this about how much you figure? 100 times on the way to Galveston?
Right, because this is going to get like 5 miles per gallon.
This is convenient though.
Not to mention the wonderful fumes you'll have. From the NHRA side underneath, you guys saw, it looked really good. Not as clean up here.
But now it's gone.
But now it's gone. Problem solved.
Our fuel filter's over here, Buff, if you want to watch that.
Watching.
Let's see if it starts sucking some fuel.
Oh. Yep. Oh yeah, we're fueling up now.
So we know it'll run now. That's a plus. What we're going to do next is we're going to make sure we have a charging system. And I believe this is the exciter wire for the alternator, which would then let it charge through the regulator. And this should just be its own little self-contained harness. If I'm not mistaken, I might be.
It's working. It doesn't even need that. It's charging. You can hear it take off. Then the alternator drags it down.
So this makes 0 sense at all. I don't know why it's charging without the exciter wire. I don't know if I care, but I do know that we'll go ahead and hook up this is the exciter wire. It's the I terminal on the regulator. So it needs a keyed 12-volt switch, which will provide it, even though it doesn't seem to want it, but maybe it'll change its mind someday. So just in case it does, it'll be here for it. More importantly than that lame stuff, does the tach work?
Oh, it does.
So here's our solution to the coolant filling issue. It just arrived. We're just going to have to adapt a hose to this, which is going to be a little interesting. I'm thinking with this random hose laying around here, it'll just kind of angle directly towards our dangle there. If we can spit on this enough to make it fit, you know what I mean? This is why you don't ever throw anything away. This is all just random used hose I had laying around. Kind of hard to fill here, but it does work. Well, we'll have to run it and burp it, of course, but at least it's got something in there it can eat on. Snagged a set of cheapy gauges from O'Reilly. I say cheapy, but they're not cheap anymore. We probably ought to have something to keep an eye on it if we're going on a 2,000-mile road trip.
Did we do the windshield?
No, let's do tires.
Let's do tires.
We're about to put this thing on the ground for the first time, but before I do that, I'm going to change the oil. VR1 oil has all the zinc and stuff you need for a classic car. It's better than diesel oil.
So it's time for an extreme oil change. Yes, we're real car guys here. I can put oil in an engine. Yeah, look at that extreme funnel action.
This thing hasn't been on the ground since we did part 1, Buff.
Yeah, I'm ready. I want to see it. It's down.
That looks great.
It looks level.
It even has suspension travel. Well, let's go ahead and get the hood for this. That way we can lay the windshield on the hood while we attempt to install the window. high over here. But
This looks good.
yeah, that one's fine. What do you think of that, JD?
Looks pretty good.
It's tough, isn't it? Then you just walk around, open this hood. Oh, I got to put some oil in at a gas station. Yep, that's always been there. It's bone stock. This glass is almost half an inch thick. And I have personally seen them stop a 38. Some super clean and steel wool will help us get some of this old weather strip off of this. But the smoother we get this, the easier it's going to be. Now, I've done truck windows. I've definitely never done anything like this. This could get interesting, to say the least. Step one here, even though I notice there's another crack in the glass, we'll ignore that. We have to put the seal on the glass. We have to put the trim in the seal. And then we put it in the car. Just that easy.
There you go.
You know, I was kind of hoping to have a professional do this so people could see how it's supposed to be done instead of two idiots trying to figure it out. But here we are. The upper and lower trim locks in here, and I think that holds this on the window. Packing our rope around this lip here. And the idea is you set this up on the channel, and then you pull the rope through. It opens up that lip, and then it sets down in the car. Just that easy. Rubber seal's falling off the window.
It's actually doing the thing.
Well, note that we didn't put the chrome in the top, and that's because it wouldn't stay there, which means I'm going to glue it on probably later.
Is it pretty close?
I think that's it.
Okay.
It's not perfect,
No.
but that's not bad. We shoot the screws in it. I mean, I think that's it, dude. So the factory secured this in with self-tappers. Just shoot a self-tapper. I mean, just like Ford did. No, not at all. I didn't make it up. Putting trim back on. It's looking pretty sharp. Putting the interior trim in. This is the rear view mirror holder thingy. And I think the parts car has a day-night mirror in it. Let's go rob it. Easy to do when there's no window in here. Day-night mirror. Ooh, fancy. Got my fancy new fan today. You see how this thing's like corrugated? This is Flexolite's S fan. I don't know. It's not sponsored or anything, okay? It's just supposedly a 3000 CFM fan, which should cool the 460. I've got about a finger between the water pump pulley and the fan. There's no other option.
We need the grill from the parts car because it's actually in pretty good shape. I'm going to take this out and then we'll put it back in the wagon. After a long fight, we finally got it out. There's a whole bunch of bottom ones that were rounded off, and you even have to take the headlight bezels out. This sucked.
You pulled the grill out of that parts car. I don't know how to put it in though, so how does it go in? Okay, so these stupid things here.
Yeah.
Nice. Hell yeah, dude. This looks killer. What do you think? No bumper? I mean,
This looks pretty cool though.
I know, and our bumper's bent, and the parts car bumper's bent too.
I say we just leave it alone.
I think we just leave it off until I find a good one, maybe. Yum.
Yeah, it's the best.
Okay, yeah, so you're pulling those like batten strip things off. Is
Yeah.
that all that hold? Well, maybe the dome light in that one, but
Yeah.
I cannot believe that's coming off of there. She's going to do some interior things here. Recover these panels, which are in reasonably good shape. And you'll probably have to replace that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll get crafty with this one. Let's just see what we're working with, because it might be entertaining. I accidentally put my hand in that, and I never want to do it again. There is some life going on in here.
Whoa.
No, it's a brown recluse, kill it! Now, like, bend it back and see if there's brown recluses in it. I don't know what that is.
Another spider, you say.
I'm not even a sissy, but these things, like, really
No, they're
get me.
horrible. That's not being a sissy. That's just rat poop, though, so that's a good sign. Rats eat those.
Yeah, actually, those are like seed pods of some sort.
Holy ant colony.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll kill them.
Ammonia will kill them for sure. Get most of these sprayed. Looking pretty sharp. We need to take these off too. Top parts of the door here.
Okay.
That comes off with just a few screws.
Alright.
And then we can paint those too.
There's a dead spider there, and egg sacs and spider webs everywhere.
Let me get my spider killer right here. I guess this is a good thing. I mean, at least we won't have to deal with this while we're driving. Some more kill mat here. This is thinner stuff than I used on the floor, but we can get a little more coverage out of it for cheaper. I'm just gonna put it up on the roof and maybe inside the doors even. Hell, maybe under the hood. We're gonna make this thing pretty nice inside. I'm not too worried about them button up or anything. You just kind of need a tile every so often up here. Fuck off.
Whoa, that's what they look like?
That's a brown recluse. That's a baby brown recluse.
Ooh.
That was a big one.
Ooh, spray in there. There we go.
The brake clean purifies all. More so when combined with fire. That looks pretty damn cool. How's it sound? Oh yeah, much better. Hell yeah. I used all my leftover scrap pieces inside the tailgate. That ought to help with some rattles. And I started spraying some blue on those wheelhouses. JD's removing door panels from our parts car. They're in okay shape. We're getting our money's worth out of this thing.
Yeah, we are.
Jess is working on our headliner panels. Southwestern flavored material you get from Hobby Lobby.
Yes, 40% off.
Professionally installing it with duct tape.
Yeah.
It'll work. Well, I guess I might as well start on carpet. It's like indoor-outdoor carpet. Should be just fine for this. Obviously, I wasn't going to spend actual money on a carpet kit. When you're installing house carpet in your car, don't do anything stupid like measure. Just guess. So I could see the lines of the carpet run sideways, and we're going to keep them going sideways. And what I'm going to do is get this side set, and then I'll cut that side to fit. We're going to get our length rough cut here. Well, we kind of screwed up. We've got a few gaps to fill. Like my grandpa used to say, mark of a good carpenter isn't how few mistakes he makes, it's how many mistakes he can cover up. I mean, it's alright. It looks like crap right now, but the seat covers up all of it. Let's throw the parts car's seat in here. Is it perfect? No. Will it suffice to put our asses upon? Yes. Using some random hardware I found to install the seat. The bolt that I welded to the floor there worked really well and held. Hopefully the tracks move. Oh! Yeah, they move really good. And I started messing around with the door panel back there. Those are actually going to look pretty good. Our colors aren't as haphazard as I thought they might be. We're going to take a bit of a break from interior work though. Now that we have a seat, I want to drive the thing, see what it drives like, see if I'm going to get away with the front end the way it is. I just pulled the dipstick to throw some trans fluid in it, and it's broke off. Let me go find one. One of these other LTDs probably has one we can use. Put a gallon of transmission fluid in it. At least it won't run dry. Stopping the action because we have a pretty good fuel leak out of somewhere. My return line hose was a little suspect. It was a used piece of hose I had laying around, so I replaced it with another used piece of hose I had laying around. It would appear to be maybe the fitting for the line. I just can't get it any tighter. Oh, I suppose I'll rip the fuel pump off. At least it's not a big job anymore without all the accessories on top. Once I got both the rubber lines off, I could see it a little bit better. This dinky little thing, it's cracked. I mean, I'm moving that whole freaking fitting that's welded to the pump from the factory. I did buy this because I figured I'd bring an extra on our trip. This one doesn't have a return line though. In lieu of a return line, I'll use one of these filters that has a return line built into it, and hopefully that gets the job done. How is that still leaking? I legitimately don't know what the problem here is. It doesn't appear to be damaged or wore out. I think I got it. Maybe.
A lot better. I had to make a new line. Fan kicked on. Sitting at 190.
That's the first time that car's been assembled and has moved under its own power in over 20 years. It was a project left for dead in pieces. Now, it's got a new life.
that again. That's how we don't do that. It drives really good. Yeah. Definitely has a 410 gear in it. I bet we're not doing 55 or 60. We're pulling 3,000 RPM. Hey, cool. Good oil pressure. The brakes work good. I mean, we got a lot of good things here. If we got to figure out a little carburetor trouble, that ain't nothing.
Not a bad one at all.
Welcome back this morning. I've been raiding the parts stash for the trim and stuff the car is missing, some interior components. Look at that. They'll get there. I just noticed though that the driver's window is broken. It's in there, but the glass is broken. These are plate glass. It's actually laminated glass like a windshield. So whenever you go through it, it cuts you into pieces. I found a replacement one, $50 for a new glass online. That's not too bad. Smack, smack, screw. Then we will, of course, secure the door card with self-tappers. See, these are better than clips. And they're shiny. We need a new steering wheel, that's for sure. To the parts car. Steering wheel isn't much better, but I took the horn ring off. We'll use it. If I'm gonna paint a steering wheel, I might as well just paint the one on the car, I guess. Well, this cleaned up nice. It doesn't have power steering, but we can pretend that it does with this. So I've got our steering wheel here. It's got a lot of cracks in it. I've fixed these successfully a lot of times. Grind the cracks out, use a body filler, and then just kind of refinish the whole wheel, and it actually works really well. I don't have time for that. So I'm gonna take some 80 grit, I'm gonna rough up around the cracks. I've got my spot putty, put a dab on it. I'm gonna work it into the crack, then we'll just kind of feather it out with a little bit of 180 grit sandpaper. It will hold for a while. I'm curious to see how long. There we go. While we wait for the steering wheel to dry, we'll get these headliner panels up. Kind of got to start at it here. It's time to sand the steering wheel. So we're just going to knock this spot putty down, but I'm not going to knock it all down. I mean, we're not working the side of a car here. It's a freaking steering wheel. Kind of leave a little feathered hump like that on top. It'll hold up longer. We want a 20-footer out of our steering wheel that you sit a foot away from. It turned out better than I thought it was going to. I should have maybe put a little more time into it, but meh, oh well. The paint's probably just going to rub off anyway. So let's spray this thing blue. I'm just going to cover up all this rust with carpet, because nobody's ever done that, ever had an issue long term. I have enough scraps here. I think I can piece it together. It's not going to be perfect, and I'm just going to screw it in so it's kind of temporary. Are you even living if you're not self-tappering carpet into your car? This is a piece of that plastic board. I just painted it blue. It'll kind of match things. Found this in the parts stash, so we can get that reattached. Cover up that whole tailgate. Well, the interior's done. It's better than it was. It's more colorful than it was. You can't sweat the small things. Yeah, it's not great. It's fine. Who cares? It's better than it was. It was sitting in like a grain silo for 20 years. I dig the steering wheel. That was a total success. Spot putty and spray paint. That's like fully restored.
Finally got the battery tray in. It looks a lot better than the old one.
I stopped at the parts store. Got some sweet quilted pleather floor mats. Only the best for this. Those don't look nearly as stupid as I thought they were going to. Success! I had to get my footprint gas pedal installed.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's awesome.
I don't mean to brag, guys, but I did get air conditioning for this car. I know, it's over budget. You know, it's air conditioning in a classic car don't come cheap. So anyway, here it is. This is a vintage swamp cooler to prevent swamp ass. You fill it with ice, and then it blows air through it, and then it's air conditioning. Cut the cigarette lighter end off, stuck it here, and it works. It's got a place for cigarettes, pen, map, case, and papers. Pencil, not to be confused with pen. And sunglasses. After getting the air conditioning installed in the wagon, I decided to tackle rebuilding the Motorcraft 4-barrel carburetor semi-successfully. Kind of realizing that carburetor is most likely junk and beyond my capabilities,
Decided to throw a pair of valve cover gaskets at it. It is time to drive this thing to Texas. Well, not quite. There's a few things I want to wrap up. We need exhaust. We're going to get that done tomorrow. And I'm going to go ahead and change the carburetor out to a standard square bore carburetor. I've done a few things since you've last seen it. I put a window glass in this side. We've got authentic Mexican blanket upholstery now. I swapped out the Motorcraft for a Holly, which I actually later swapped out for an Edelbrock, but I didn't show on camera, I don't think. After that, I ran it up to my local muffler shop, got some duals ran on the thing, and took it for its first real drive. Exhaust pipes. Let's see how she does. It's the first real drive this car's had. It'll be a good little test run before we actually hit the big road. I hear some squealing. I know that belt is definitely going to give us problems. And I hear brakes. Yeah, it is brakes. I might have set them up too tight, I guess. Oh yeah, they're dragging. Well, maybe they'll self-adjust on the way home. And by that, I mean they'll just, you know, grind down to nothing. All right, on the highway. First time in, well, probably a very long time. Ah, it's so quiet. Love it. Man, she runs good, though. Staying cool. Good oil pressure. Good 460. Good brake test here. Coming off the highway. Oh, yep, yellow light, and oh man, they stop pretty good. I don't know, maybe I don't want to mess with them. I realized I didn't even show you how it sounds. So quiet. I don't have my my prop rod for this. So this is it takes two people to fill this tank, actually. Whoa. Okay, you know what? Maybe we crack one of these too while we're here, but she's building up some pressure. Oops. No, it's just the overflow.
Oh, okay, cool.
Freaking dashboard's so shiny it's reflecting off the window. Behold the handling prowess of the 1960 Ford Country Sedan. Yes, it's actually pretty good. I'm a little bit impressed, actually.
But as it turned out, Dalton should not have been impressed.
We made it. This car's terrific. Well, just in time, our new third member for Quick Performance has shown up. 323 gears in that as opposed to the 411s in this. Let's go ahead and get that swapped out in the 9-inch. Anytime you're changing out gears, start by drop the drive shaft. You gotta pull the wheels, pull the axles out just a bit. There's the drive shaft out. This is gonna be interesting. They don't really come out of here very well. No, come on. There. You take out the 4 bolts that retain the axle, pop the axle out, repeat the same thing on the other side, and then we can go ahead and unbolt the third member. These don't just slide out once they've been in there for 60 years. Yeah. Oh God.
Not good?
No. This axle bearing doesn't sound very good, but it doesn't have a lot of play in it. I think it'll be alright. I just kind of flushed it out with some brake clean. Oh, finally. Same thing over here. That sounds really not good. We're out of time, and I don't have time to replace them, get new ones. It's not going to happen, so prayer will be the answer. You'd run that jack up, it should try to pull the bottom away. It's starting to leak now, so it is working. There she goes. Oh, I missed. Well, there was grease in it, so that's something. Come on. Timber! I gotta pull the pinion snubber off of our factory third member here. We're gonna need that to control all the violent power of that Smog 460. Ah yes, now it looks like crap again, just how I like it. Just need a little persuasion. Be cool if we get these air vents to open up. So those are piped through the fenders. When you go down the road, it sucks up cold air and just blows it right at you.
Ooh,
yeah, it's damn near air conditioning while you're moving.
I think mine does that too.
It does. Well, I got it open. There we go. Some may call me paranoid. Me? I say I'm prepared. I know I have a belt alignment issue. I bought 16 belts to bring with us. Surely these will make it 2,000 miles. What I do is I go to O'Reilly, buy everything I can think of that this car might need: fuel pump, alternator, starter, voltage regulator, coil, ignition module, etc. And if I don't use it, I just take it back and get my money back. It's free insurance. The old adage, if you bring it, you won't need it, has always been true for me. We've been doing some last minute preparations here. The car's acting kind of funny. I kind of drove it around to break in that diff, and it was cutting out and stuff. I went ahead and threw a cap, rotor at it, and some plugs, and found a wire that had a bad spot in it. It's gonna rain, at least for the next couple of days. I rain-X'd the windshield, but then we hooked up the vacuum line to the vacuum wipers, and they actually work. So they don't work great because they're vacuum wipers, but they do function. So we'll have to put some blades on them. O'Reilly's had the actual correct stainless steel wiper blades in stock, which I'm very picky about. I like them. And there we go. Wipers. Oh no, it's raining. Aha! Come on. You can do it. Wow. That's crazy. Honest to God, I don't think I've ever seen vacuum wipers actually work. And the weather's beautiful. What a day for a road trip in a car with vacuum operated wipers that started working yesterday. We're actually gonna drop the fish off at my parents' house. It might be a little too hot for him in this car. Make that stop, and then it's on the road to Texas. To the beach. I mean, this weather just makes me want to go to the beach. Oh yeah, the hula girl, she stripped.
Censored.
Battery didn't die overnight, so that's fixed. Ah yeah, this is going to go really well. Ignore the sounds, but the sounds are fine. Those are normal. This, not so much. It's kind of hard to drive. Not impossible. Ow! But yeah, it's difficult. This is great. Well, the wipers just kind of do their own thing, but we're about 10 miles into the trip, out of a couple thousand, and so far it's been hell. So I mean, we can only go up from here. You know? I can actually see the road better through the camera. Maybe I just drive like this. I think this is a leave the keys in it kind of trip. Maybe someone will steal it.
It's fine.
Shit. Maybe it'll be, I need to be more positive. Or maybe less realistic. Before we get too far, install manual wipers with this twine. If you can't tie a knot, tie a lot. They seem to go down pretty good, they just don't really go up very good. So if we just tie this here, I can just pull them up and then they'll fall down on their own. The National Interstate System was in full swing by 1960. About the time this car was made. It was time for American families to hit the road and go cross-country in their vehicles. This hasn't done that in quite a while. 65 at 3,300 RPM now instead of 36 or 37. Not a huge gain, but it'll help some. Yes! I am a master of all that is machine. That's not good. Starting to climb. It's not going to get any better on the way there. I see if backing off a little bit helps. Might just be pulling too hard. Well, I think we're going to have to pull off and see if we can do anything to remedy that. Unfortunately, we're about an hour in and that's not going to get any better. The plus side, you've made the hula girl a dress.
Yes.
Oil leak up here. Nothing too crazy. Oh yeah, it's absolutely vomiting oil out of the front seal, so that's that smell. That's okay though, we can deal with that. It's definitely quite swollen. I'd like to get a temp gun too, just to verify that gauge is actually accurate. So right now, obviously it's sitting and it's heat soaked. So we're sitting at 240 via this. I trust this more than that Equus gauge, honestly. 220. think. So we're at around 210. Let's go look at the gauge. The gauge says damn near 230. It's 20 degrees off. Yeah. Much better. This is also much better. I don't know why. I can pretty well maintain about that much windshield wiper. It could be better, I'm not gonna lie. It's not the best. You know, Ford really should have done something better than this. You know, guys, I always say get your stuff out and drive it, but this is absolutely terrifying. I don't. There's no. I've driven worse cars, but this is really bad. I really hope we live. That'd be great. The outside of the window's fogging, and I don't even know how that's possible.
It's really weird.
This car defies physics. The light. Oh God, please be at least a brake. Look at my string. It's fraying. It's cold. All right, stop for gas. I want to verify the temp. 220, I mean, it's not good, but the gauge does say over 230, so 220 is not good, but it's better than 230. Well, that's less than ideal. I'm doing it while it's running, so that's something. I checked the oil, it looks fine. It's definitely running hot. My next step will be gut the thermostat. Don't want to do that right now though. I have another idea of getting a heater core and making an auxiliary cooling system for it. I just have to find an auto parts store that's able to comprehend I need something with 2 5/8 nipples, you know. 10 miles to the gallon, about what I figured honestly, although we weren't driving the speed limit any of that time. That's not very good. Yeah, well, let's start in thermal meltdown mode.
I'll be darned.
It sounds like it's running fine. And it didn't burn any oil. Let's get some lunch.
After the car cooled off, I decided to take another look.
I popped this off to check the coolant. It pushed a ton of air out. Wondering if we need to burp it. Didn't take very much. Let's just keep hauling. Now let's take a scenic byway. Huh? Also, the car seems to like this kind of road a lot better, so this might be a little easier on it. In other news, sticking to the back road seems to have helped, keeping it around 55, 60 instead of keeping up with traffic. You know, it's really not moving off of 190, so if that's what we got to do, we can do that. That's all right. You get to see more stuff that way anyway. Oh, son of a bitch. You hate to see it. Oh, hello.
Them go.
Hey, whoa.
Wow, with the return and everything.
Yeah.
Go.
Woo. See, I just have to modulate the throttle. And down. And up. And down. Oh, I got two of that. Whoa!
Go.
And down. And up.
You won't get car sick at all.
Up.
Don't lose the twine.
You can floss your teeth. window. Beautiful Oklahoma. I bought this new old stock cigarette lighter, but the damn cigarette lighter's so wore out it doesn't stay in. I paid $70 for that. That's how dedicated I was to this car. Note how I said was. I've been pushing it a little harder. We're climbing right back up in temperature. Bonita's got a cool downtown. It's historic, it says so on the billboard off of 44.
Shout and sack.
Shout and sack?
Okay. That's a combination of words I've not seen before.
Is that? Yeah, we used another 8.7 gallons, and I think we went about another 100 miles, so it's doing a little bit better off the interstate. We'll probably keep that up. Yeah, we're still running hot, but there's just nothing we can do about it, I'm afraid. What we got for oil? Totally fine. So that's pretty impressive, actually. Considering the leak it has. Maybe it's leaking, maybe it's over full. That could be it. I think we're gonna try to drive another maybe 4 hours or so, 4 or 5 hours. Won't push it too hard, but let's get as far as we can. Damn thing doesn't run that thing. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't understand. It wouldn't have made it this far if anything was like super bad. So let's continue pushing our luck. That's not how that works at all. It is not happy at all. I don't know what to do really other than just keep pushing. It is what it is. I'm gonna try something dumb. It's never gonna work. I bought this random heater core at O'Reilly here, and wherever the hell, Oklahoma.
We're in Pryor.
Oh, Pryor, Oklahoma? Yeah. So I don't think we want to put it in front of the radiator. I don't know, maybe. You know, if we just mount this will be an auxiliary cooling system. Maybe. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna gut the thermostat, and we'll see if that helps. If it doesn't, then we're just gonna drive it till it melts down. Now, I feel horrible about this, but I didn't break any of them. I can straighten that grill back out, and I have an extra at home. That's if we continue to own this vehicle. I don't know how well this is going to work, but in my mind, it's just like adding some more rows to the radiator. Now we just hook the heater hoses here, loop them back to the engine, and we have an extra, what, half a gallon of coolant maybe? I am desperate if it's not apparent. So I'm going to gut this extra thermostat I brought along. You don't ever want to just not run a thermostat. You want to gut them or run a washer in their place. You want to restrict the flow a little bit. You want to slow it down so the water's got time to absorb the heat. So what you do is you just take the guts out of them, snip them open like this, and then I'll drop that in there. Maybe it'll work. I don't know. I'm sure that's not going to cause any issues down the road.
Definitely not.
No, that's fine.
Real good for the environment too.
Son of a bitch. But I didn't see anything.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Alright, got to get the new gasket I put on yesterday off of this. Then we'll glue it on here to our newly gutted thermostat and our new auxiliary cooling system.
Ta-da! It looks like it would work, like it's bad enough to work.
Burp, damn you.
Burp the baby. Oh. Just gonna act like that didn't happen and head over this way. Sir, you're kind of messy.
No. It was all on, that's rain. Acid rain.
Oh yeah, that government engineered rain.
Well, you know, people just don't respect the environment, and that's what happens, you know?
Well,
look at there. There's no way. I mean, we haven't gone anywhere yet, but I'm still calling that a win. It would have already been hot by now. Yeah.
Well, we're going for it. Oh. Onward. Thanks, O'Reilly's.
Yeah, those guys are great.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Well.
Quick, we gotta join the pursuit. Since we can do that now, since the car's been running cool-ish. I mean, it's definitely warm, but it hasn't even gotten close to 230. And that's good. We've been driving, what, 30, 40 minutes or so? I've been cruising too. I've been pushing 65, 70. We could not do that before. So, onward. We got an hour and 20 to McAllister, Oklahoma, and then a beer and bed. We just pulled off of a good little run on the highway there, and this sumbitch is running great now. My genius knows no bounds. We got 56 more minutes to get to the hotel, and I'm feeling better than I have this entire trip, to be honest with you. And of course, Google Maps is taking us the incredibly scenic Hills Have Eyes route, which is just wonderful. Love it. It wants us to go straight here, doesn't it?
Yep. It wants us to go straight.
Awesome. Thanks, Google.
Thanks, Google.
Quality stuff from them, as always.
Just fantastic.
Oh, this is bad.
This is how the car bolts work.
Oh, damn.
Oh, you beat me to it.
Ha!
Well, we made it to the ocean.
All right,
Yeah, you followed him.
10.7 gallons. That was about 140 miles-ish. So it's actually improved on fuel mileage by being able to drive a little bit faster. Probably getting into the torque band of that engine a little better. They call me crazy, but I think it's good.
But as Dalton would soon find out, it was not good.
Stampede! You know, mirrors really shouldn't have been optional. I'm just gonna say it. You know, that it's a hot take, I know, but I'm saying it. You need side mirrors, at least one. We made it, McAllister, Oklahoma. Random generic hotel, excellent. I need beer and food immediately or I'm going to die, so we're gonna go do that right now. It's still here, nobody stole it. It's just unfortunate. I mean, the title's in the glove box, you know, just saying. Do our typical morning ritual, make sure the heater core is still doing its thing, seems to be. I can finally touch things in here, which is nice. Let's top that off. It's a little bit low. Check the oil. Looks like the oil is fine still, so that's kind of impressive. Well, nothing not to like about that. Stupid car. 77 miles an hour. Not as fast as I would like to go with this thing anyway. Oh my God.
Oh, look at all of that.
I'm pretty sure we're in Texas. There was a little sign back there. Our front seal leak is becoming a little more aggressive. I think we even left a trail pulling in here. So that's a dime. Oh, never mind. Everything's fine. Yeah, like, it's still totally full. It must just look worse than it is, but we actually, I mean, you can see it. We're leaving a trail. Won't be too hard to track us. All right, well, let's see what a new highway does for us. It can't be any worse, right? As the miles went on, the car was driving worse and worse and grabbing all the ruts of the road, which is indicative of worn front end components, something I chose to ignore that wasn't the right move.
It wasn't long before I spotted CTC Auto Ranch off the side of 35 and had to stop in for a look.
The car needs a break anyway, it's getting hot.
Okay, let's do it.
I've always wanted to see what this place is like. CTC is a fantastic junkyard, and the guys there are just great. If you need anything, I highly recommend them. If you want to see a more thorough junkyard crawl, check out this video in its original form on the channel. That was a good little side trip there, and it didn't let the car cool off at all, so perfect. It's getting warmer. It's Texas for some reason. Anyway.
Right words, wrong order.
Good start.
On the road again.
Well, we've stopped somewhere in Texas. I have no idea where. We can get some fuel. I don't even know if we need it, but need to give this thing a little bit of a break. It's not doing bad. It's just ragged edge. It's starting to get hotter. Out here it's probably close to 90 degrees, and you know, naturally it's going to run a little warmer, so I'm not too concerned about it though. Looks like our Amazonian fuel cell might be leaking a little bit. Another 10 gallons. I don't know what that means, but we use 10 gallons. We are finally just below the safe mark, so we'll add probably the next fuel stop. It'll need a quart maybe. We might have a slight alignment issue. The inside of this tire is completely bald, and the inside of that tire is also completely bald. Huh. Those were brand new tires. Holy crap. That wore out quick. I can't say I've ever seen tires wear out that quickly. That thing desperately needs a front end alignment, and I heard that this place might be able to help us. 2033 Auto in Weatherford, Texas is going to get it in and attempt to align this thing. I mean, after they get done laughing anyway. Okay. Or pissing themselves out of fear. Those guys are super cool, but they accurately determined that the car has no control arm bushings in the front, and it doesn't. So the best I could think of is let's see if we can't find 2 more tires and just put tires on it. And maybe get another 600 miles out of them. I mean, I don't care about buying a set of tires, so let's see. Let's go back to this. We stopped at another place. They told us to go here, so now we're going to go back there and buy tires because they don't sell tires. Turpin Tire Center here doesn't have any 14-inch tires. Not surprising these days. So what they're going to do is flip the tires around so I can at least run on new tread-ish. Yep. Unfortunately, we lose our white letters. We gain tires. Those are good for another 600 miles at least.
We'll see.
Oh, we have brand new tires again.
Yeah. Not in front of everyone, car.
Come on now. Might make Stephenville tonight. Tomorrow we'll drive to Bernie, and then I'm afraid we may have to swap this thing for something else and see what we can get ourselves into. So it may not make it all the way to the beach. We'll see we'll see how this all plays out, I suppose.
Casa Decor, did you know that means decor for your house?
Does it?
Yeah, it sure does.
Well, you're practically Spanish. Driving very slow and careful as to not die.
We eventually got so desperate that we resorted to flagging down strangers and offering to trade the station wagon for their vehicles.
See if this guy here will trade. Hey!
You want to trade?
You want to trade that truck?
You want to trade?
Maybe that's pretty cool.
Do you want to trade?
Really? Do you want to trade?
I'm trying to get rid of it.
There's a Conoco.
All right.
You never know.
Damn it. It didn't work.
Yeah.
He said he liked it, but he likes his truck better. Smart man.
Very understandable. That's a great truck. Well, we tried, baby.
Hey, you want this?
He was a strong maybe there for about 4 seconds, though.
Yeah, well.
Great guy, though.
Yeah, he was
Real
great. Dome light still works.
Sure does.
Headliner's still alright.
It's very surprisingly. Yeah. Well,
I want food in bed.
we need these things, yes.
And then tomorrow we'll make it to Dr. Lee's tomorrow. And then we'll see what happens.
Yep.
It's still here. Unfortunately, our for sale signs didn't work. Check fluids. Get on the road. We only got like 3.5 hours to go. Still fine. Might need a pint. Auxiliary cooling system. Still there. Regular cooling system. Might need a top off. It's like it's pretty much a good car, other than the parts that really aren't, you know?
Other than it could kill us.
Yeah, other than the death part. We have new and interesting noises in the back of this morning. They were not there last night, but now they are. I'm gonna guess axle bearings as well. All the more reason to get where we're going soon. Something you always got to remind yourself of. I have seen crackheads drive really sketchy things for thousands of miles. And, you know, as long as you, what would a crackhead do? You know, I mean, I need to get that bracelet made, I think. WWCD.
I'm not sure if that's the best life motto, but it might work for a car.
14 more miles to go to Dr. Lee's place.
Yay!
We're getting there.
As we marched forward into Texas Hill Country, the station wagon became more and more treacherous on the windy asphalt roads.
We got pretty good whiffs of gear lube going on. If you guys remember earlier in the video, the axle bearings are pretty bad in this, and I ignored them. Well, turns out that might not have been the move. Kind of like everything else I ignored. Although they did make it this far. I mean, we've gone 750 miles or so. I mean, I'm kind of impressed, actually. I think it's time for this thing to find a new home. Oh my God. This last 30 miles or so here is going to make or break us. This Audi behind us is going, what the hell? It's not that bad. Meanwhile, I'm white-knuckling this thing.
Sorry, Audi. Probably a good goal, bud.
Yeah. It's good. Maybe you got tired of smelling the gear lube.
Probably.
Oh, you can hear the tires squealing.
Oh, yeah. It's all content, right?
I think we're hitting every mile this car has out of it.
Man, I hope it's got about 30 some more left. I think she does.
I think so too. We just got to go easy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Every time you turn, it sounds like we're drifting.
Sounds like I'm doing something marvelous.
Yeah.
We're doing 40.
We're surviving, and that's pretty marvelous at this point.
I can't express enough just how terrifying this car has been. I can usually kind of cover that up, but this one's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. Well, now the tires are squealing even
guy with cash and trail. Oh, Dr. Lee, help! We have made it to the famous Dr. Lee's place. I want to check out some of his projects. The car barely made it here. This has just been hell. Dr. Lee is, of course, Lee Carricker. He is Demolition Ranch Matt's dad and a good friend of mine. You're going to be seeing a whole lot of him here in a little bit. I have a buyer on the station wagon. We're going to go meet him in town here and hopefully pedal this piece of crap. I mean, fine automobile. And we're just going to dump all our stuff in Dr. Lee's yard. He doesn't mind. Rip likes it. I tried to sell it to him. He said he'd take it, but he don't got no thumbs.
Well, I was going to try to sell Rip to you.
Oh,
Oh, come on, Rip, come on.
That's it.
Fish will love you.
Fish and Rip would have a good time together.
I think we found a sucker. I mean, a potential buyer.
No, I'm going to take it.
It's a pretty good car, really. It just needs it needs more help than I can do on the road.
I love it, man.
Like the auxiliary cooling system?
I do.
It works. Yeah, so he bought it, so we don't have a car anymore. Oh.
I like camping, don't you?
Yeah. At least got a nice front yard.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you, sir.
You as well, thank you.
Appreciate it, and we're off to go try to find something else. Wish me luck, because I literally have no idea what we're doing. There's no plan. I don't know anything at all. It's a seat of our pants. After pedaling the station wagon off to a good home where it has since been fixed and is being loved daily, I was still determined to take Jess to the beach. And to do that, I hopped on Facebook Marketplace and bought this fine 1973 Ford Ranchero. We're going to drive this to Galveston so that Jess can finally see the beach, because that's just the kind of swell guy I am. So in Texas, cars rot from the top down. A good example of that. The rest of the car is extremely solid. It's just leaking a little bit of fuel up by the carburetor out of that hose. We replaced one of those crappy squeeze clamps and we should be in business. It needs a tune-up and stuff, but we'll do that later. The point is to try to get it to a hotel now. Alright, fuel leak is scabbed together. I declare that good enough to drive this car that I've never driven before. They just kicked that floor mat over the hole, it'll be fine.
I don't know what hole you're talking about.
Exactly. It could be better. But it does run, and it does drive, and it does stop, and yeah, honestly, it drives better than that wagon did. We got this.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty not good. Feels like it's got a bent wheel or flat tires, flat spotted tires. It's about to fall apart. I don't know. I can't give it too much gas, it dies. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, there's the shake. Maybe some fresh gas will help this thing out. It's pretty hot. I don't feel wonderful about this one, folks. Beggars and choosers and losers and all that stuff. I cleaned the window.
Mm-hmm.
There it is in reverse again. What a piece of shit.
I do not have the words to express to you how hot it is in this car. Very hot.
I think it's because of your added ventilation hole, maybe. Probably just sucking hot air.
Yeah. Oh my god, this mat is so hot.
Okay, we're moving out of Dr. Lee's front yard. WD.
Yes, sir. The car is fixed. Enjoy the beach.
Get out of my yard. Park brake engaged. Alright, let's go check it out. Unfortunately, it still exists. Well, good morning. It's time to get some work done on this thing. Looks like it's going to rain. At least we have windshield wipers, though. We need to go to O'Reilly, pick up some parts. I don't think it's going to need a whole hell of a lot of stuff, but we'll take it to Dr. Lee's and work on it there. Yes. I got a new battery for it. The last one was puking. It's probably overcharging. I think it needs a new regulator. maybe it needs a regulator. I'm not really sure. I did notice one thing earlier, that these wires here, they just don't go to anything. They were just hot 12 volts sitting on the floor arcing around, so I'm sure that's not helping anything. Let's get it up in the air, Rip. And, I would like to give it a shake down, see if we're really dealing with any major front end components that I need to address right away. And if nothing looks too terrible, I'll grease everything, then we'll dive under the hood, basic tune-up, belts. So we gotta get it under the crossmember, Rip. We did a little shakedown test on the Ranchero, and it actually seemed to be pretty decent. So since the last battery exploded, I thought that maybe it might be overcharging. Lee's got a meter, so let's do that now. We'll fire it up.
You know, with that shift cable,
Yeah.
I'm going to move right here.
Oh, you know what?
yeah.
I'll get in the other side and hold the brakes.
Okay. It's over 15 and a half.
Okay. Yeah, probably needs a regulator.
Yep.
Oh! Okay, so let me go ahead and make that call
Wow.
on the rotors.
Throw a cat through that groove.
That's incredible.
That's impressively horrible. Wow.
Healthy.
Okay, I gotta call O'Reilly immediately. I'm glad we looked. Well, in my infinite wisdom, I've once again bought a Ford, and because it's a Ford, you can't get any parts for it. And like these brake rotors, special order everywhere. It'll be a week before they get here. So those are fine, actually. You know, they're actually perfectly fine. Nothing to worry about there. I can't get this caliper either, so I don't want to break open that brake bleeder, break the bleeder off. I got the left caliper. I can't get this one. Well, when in doubt, just grease everything. Doesn't look like it's had any for a while. Probably end up having to go back to O'Reilly, get some brake pads and some of the other things we need. We'll have to find some stuff to do in the meantime. Let's see if we get the shifter adjusted. Okay, can I get you to put it in like drive or something like that? Mm-hmm. Oh, hang on.
Oh.
Oh, I see the real problem. Go ahead and pull that into drive, babe. See that whole bracket moving? It looks like somebody tried to RTV silicone the bolts back into the bell housing. Very interesting technique, I have to say. Let me see if I can fix this somehow, but they've already maxed out the adjustment on that. Can you go to drive? Park? I think it's in park. So I just zip tied the shifter cable bracket to the transmission line, so that's going to work for sure. I'll never look at that again, guaranteed.
Always wanted a Mustang, but aren't they Fords?
Yeah, they are.
I've just changed my mind. Give me that Corvair any day.
Ralph Nader be damned.
Who would put a voltage regulator where you have to remove the battery to get to it? Come on.
Hide it in that corner so it gets nice and hot.
That's exactly right. That's what voltage regulators like, is heat, and a lot of it. Okay, we got it.
I got the chrome one.
Yes, you did.
Shinier is better.
The car will go fast with that, huh?
Uh-huh.
Always try to without one.
I think this might have been bad, actually. We'll keep it, just in case, though. Well, they're non-greasable U-joints. We can't do nothing for them, but they feel okay. I'm going to go ahead and yank the calipers and see if we can't repack these bearings. Oh, thank God. These bolts like to stick. You know, I feel like that brake pad might be a little embedded in there.
I don't know why.
I gotta drive the slide out of it. I'm just trying to shimmy it a little bit.
Treatment.
What's that?
Getting the fancy treatment.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Only the best for my friends.
Better be careful. The car is going to want to stay here. You keep treating it so well.
Little did you know that you were the lucky winner of a 1973 Ford Ranchero.
Wow. I never won anything.
Can I take the prize money instead?
No cash value. That is not supposed to be that difficult. I think it is one with the rotor. There it goes. It didn't just get down to the rivets, they used the rivets too. The good news is the caliper looks alright. The seal's good in it. You got some life left in them yet. Our inner bearing over here is pinched flat on this side, kind of oblong down here. Both the inner and outer of it, parts of it,
are out of round. That's probably part of our vibration problem right there. Taking our new bearings, get them full high temp, then put it back in this perfectly fine rotor and hub assembly here that needs nothing. I mean, that's amazing. It's in that good a shape, really. I was shocked. I'm trying very hard to salvage the brake lines and components here because they seem to be okay. Trying to squeeze the caliper back in so we can install new pads. Problem being, that caliper has been overextended for a very, very long time. I've run into this before, and I haven't always been able to get them done without removing the caliper. If I gotta do that, then we are gonna open a whole can of worms here. Alright, let's try to get this rusty sumbitch out of there. I think we're doing the right thing by replacing that, although it is flowing. Ugh.
It's running pretty
Yeah,
good.
it is actually flowing pretty good. I'm calling me impressed. Now we gotta compress this piston all the way in, and hopefully it does compress, because if it does not compress, we have problems. There it goes.
There you go.
There she goes. I'm gonna try to hit it with compressed air in here.
Ooh. I was standing in the wrong spot.
Me too.
Ooh.
Let's shove this through a rag so we got something to seal against, like I should have done in the first place. There we go. See it moving? Give it a couple taps this way. That brake is done. New brake hose. Everything went back together. Now, of course, we're going to have to bleed the brakes now. Let me get the driver's side knocked out. I have a caliper for it, so I may as well go ahead and use it.
Well, we've got this fantastic vinyl top, but you know, it's gotta go.
Lee and I got the brakes squared away. They feel pretty good. I want to dig into the carburetor here. We got a leaky accelerator pump. This kind of runs like crap, you know, so we'll clean it out, throw some new gaskets at it. Needs a power steering belt real bad. It's floppy, and that's the only thing that drives the water pump in this accessory drive, so how's that going?
I wish I wouldn't have cleaned my windshield first, but
Oh, don't worry, it's about
it's
to
great.
rain.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Cool.
I couldn't get that stud out. Okay, it's just stuck in the gasket. Oh. Lee found a new floorboard for us.
That's right.
Yeah.
Very gently. Gently massaging it into shape.
You'll never see a man as desperate as one who wants me out of his shop. Fuel filter is plugged up and nasty. It's probably a lot of the problem. The leaky accelerator pump's probably the other problem. Not too bad. Thanks to the help of Dr. Lee and Jess, we made really good progress on the Ranchero. We got a whole construction crew going on here. The jets are frozen solid in this thing. I cannot get them out, so I'm not going to booger them up. Just flush them out and break them. This was not going to take us very far. It's kind of a wonder that that drove at all. That is carburetor. Jess is going to shoot a self-tapper in this. There you go. Dr. Lee's custom Ford Ranchero floor pans now available. So I don't think this thing's worth an oil change. But also, I don't think it needs it because the oil looks like brand new on the stick. So, however, I question whether or not they did put zinc additive in it, and you have to have that with flat Tapicam. My go-to for that is just this cheapy Rizlone ZDDP supplement. I'm just gonna start it and see if it runs.
Oh, okay.
With the carburetor rebuilt.
Oh, yeah.
Got a vacuum leak in the back corner here, and I think the base plate of the carburetor is warped. Although as it's warming up, I'm not hearing it as much. It might be going away. So maybe tomorrow morning we get a thick gasket again, another factory gasket. The power steering is great. Yeah, it's pinky power steering. The brakes, not so much. Arguably stop better. Oh, well, I haven't bedded the pads yet. And that one pad that's probably what it is. They haven't even compressed. We'll do that before we get to the public road. Runs better.
Yeah, that's great.
I think we're going to be in good shape, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, baby, how about we get us a nice supper at the Whataburger?
You told me you were taking me somewhere fancy. I You know it's gonna be this fancy.
God, no. You ain't even got cooked tonight.
I know.
God dang.
Good, because there was just gonna be Chef Boyardee.
It's a lot better. In fact, it's smooth even. I think we have repaired it. I think it's pretty good. The brakes aren't wonderful. They do need a little bit of help, but I don't think they bench bled the master cylinder when they replaced it. 2 pumps gets you good brakes though, and that's really good enough. So I kind of like it. We get that vacuum leak fixed. It'll straighten out this idling problem that's got going. We need some sort of insulation or something to keep the heat out of that thing, because it just roasts you. It's like being in a frying pan. So we got some carpet at O'Reilly, but we're gonna need something like HVAC insulation or something like that. We'll find it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Right there.
Yes.
I think something like that probably work.
I think it's perfect.
Yes. A couple chunks of that glued to the floor. $10.
Yes. On to Dr. Lee's. Our car that slightly improves every day. So you're gonna install our insulation and carpet.
Yes. Professionally.
I will leave you to that.
Okay.
And I'm gonna swap on a new carb gasket, try to get that vacuum leak taken care of.
Dr. Lee's got a drain pan. The lower radiator hose is living on borrowed time, to say the least. So we'll drain it, replace that lower hose. It's pretty bad. The upper hose looks okay. Wheels should be here today, and that's going to solve this problem. I did notice that this wheel is bent. I saw that last night while I was looking at it. Look at that. It's looking great.
What?
Yeah, this that one wasn't going to get us very far. Yuck. Alright, well here's our brand new thermostat here. I just gutted the old one. It's hot as hell down here. This will be fine. Please cleaning out some of the debris. I gotta figure out somewhere to put this temp gauge. I did buy one. I wouldn't mind keeping an eye on the thing. I went ahead and ripped off all the smog crap for the vacuum lines here. We'll just run the vacuum advance straight to ported vacuum. I'm sure none of this stuff is working. And that's also going to give us a place to install a temperature gauge. So we'll pull this thermostatic switch out and hook that to a gauge. Look at that custom instrumentation we got now. Jess has reupholstered everything. You fixed the seat.
I fixed the seat.
Gosh, can I get you to fix mine too?
I bet I can.
Oh man, look at this carpet, Lee. It's practically show quality.
Wow. Wow, let's go to the dealer.
All right.
Trade this thing in.
This is, yeah.
I might have splurged a little bit. And with the gray spoke torque thrust D's. Got 8s and 7s. Now, of course, you need tires. These don't work by themselves. That's gonna look pretty sharp on here.
It's gonna look way sharp.
Yeah.
It's gonna look like the best car ever now. That's gonna make such a difference. I mean, look at that.
You know what? I mean, that's looking pretty good in there.
Yeah.
Here's our misfire. Look at that. It's like someone dropped it and then threw it in the car. Nothing wrong with the plugs at all. That's this was what, number 3? Be good for it to have some actual antifreeze. Probably the first time in his life by the looks of it. Plugs are all cleaned up. We got her filled up with some 50/50. I want to fire it up. I want to see what it runs like with the new carb gasket as well, and try to get this cooling system burp. Still got a vacuum leak. There's a little bit more of that. I think that's probably about as good as it's going to get. It's definitely hitting on all 8. Carburetor sucks. It's warped. What are you going to do? We'll deal with it. We can deal with that. That's like not going to kill us, you know? That's fine. Fix those holes right up with that duct tape.
Yep.
We'll get some new tires mounted on those wheels. While we wait for that, we might as well go ahead and install a brand new vinyl top. And that is a vinyl top. I don't know, it looks better than it did. Our wheels. Oh, man.
Oh.
We got 235/75s that are probably about as much tire as I could fit back here. I even bought locking lug nuts. So I don't want anybody to steal them.
That would be our luck, wouldn't it?
be eating ice soup and imaginary bread for the next week or two, but at least we got a nice set of wheels on our Ranchero.
I don't want to leave Rip.
I don't blame you.
I love him. He loves me.
He's just a good boy.
He's Augusta's boy.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're
for
very
everything.
welcome. You're very welcome, brother.
I appreciate it more than you know.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. We got a lot done, and I'm going to go through all my tools, and when I find out what's missing, I'll send you a bill.
That's good. It was a little bittersweet leaving Dr. Lee's place, but we were headed to the beach at last. We didn't end up going to Galveston, Texas, because of a huge oil spill that happened in the bay. So we went to Port Aransas instead. And honestly, there's not a lot left to tell. The Ranchero performed flawlessly. I'd never once really had to do anything to it.
It's not where we thought we were going, but it's the Gulf nonetheless. Alright, first time you've ever seen ocean, quote unquote, but Gulf salt water, vast expanses of it.
I am so happy to be here.
Oh, this is cool.
Behold, the Ranchero on the beach, where it belongs. Is it a wagon? No. Does it matter? Maybe. I don't know.
Not to me.
It's honestly better, so. This is surreal. After 4 days of hell, 5 days of hell, we're finally here. We spent the rest of the day playing in the ocean, building a sand castle, going out to get some real seafood and some good ice cream, and then back to the hotel in the Ranchero. The mighty Ranchero got us back home. It's a good little car. We ended up having a pretty good vacation after all. We toured the U.S. Lexington and Corpus Christi. We spent a lot of time on the beach. We built many a sand castle. We ate a lot of good food. And the Ranchero? Well, it just drove on home like it was nothing.
Yeah.
It's about 4 degrees cooler in here.
Yeah. Boy, we're really rolling in it now.
Yeah.
The most difficult part of the journey home was just trying to figure out where to put all the stuff that I bought at Summit Racing's clearance store in Arlington. It's a little bit like Tetris, but it all fits in the Ranchero. It has made it. Welcome to your new family, where you will probably stay for the rest of your life.
Yes.
And mine. This is a really good car. If you like this kind of stuff, please let me know down in the comments. Please join the Low Buck Club to see all the videos early. Please buy a shirt, a hat, something like that. Polebarnmerch.com. I hardly ever plug it. I don't want to force nothing on you. But if you do, it helps us do stuff like this.